All right, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. So today I wanted to make a kind of unique video and talking about the things you can do co-op with your friends in Black Desert. So as we all know, Black Desert is one of those games where I would say about 95% of the things you do are, for the most part, solo. And over the years, I think they're actually doing a better job at incorporating new co-op stuff and or multiplayer things. So yeah, the things you can do in this game, I made a little bit of a list, and it's a little bit different from your traditional, MMOs and stuff, but I think a lot of them are, kind of unique in a way. So let's go over the ones that are pretty common that you could find in any other MMO as well. The first one would be PvP. Obviously, there's solo PvP, which you can do just fine. There's guild PvP, and I guess I could actually show you this. Let me see. If you go into like the war tab over here, I guess all we have, let me hide the camera for a second. So all we have is red battlefield. So what this one is basically red versus blue, essentially. And you can go in, there's team A and team B. There's one type where it's captured a flag or point, I guess, and there's the other one which is just their standard team deathmatch. Battle arena is basically an open arena, and you can just PvP. There's no rewards, there's no penalties for it. It's just more practice. RBF has that. We have Arena of Solaire, which is seasonal. Arena of Arsha is like a tournament style PvP. Conquest is like the Saturday sieges, Node Wars, which are every day. War of the Roses is like once every 2 weeks on a Sunday at a specific time. It's essentially like Kama Sylvia versus Odalita, faction A versus B, essentially. And this one is basically server wide versus like guild or individuals. Guild League is guild like 10 versus 10. And that one's also pretty fun. So with that said, there's a lot of different PvP styles, whether you like gear cap PvP, ungear capped, or, just group content. The next thing we have is the Atoraxxion Dungeons. So down over here, there is basically the Atoraxxion door. And I guess the equivalent of this in other video games and other MMOs is probably the equivalent of a dungeon. So in BDO, we currently have 3 Atoraxxion Dungeons. They all have a story that are a little bit different, but they're actually kind of unique and fun to do. Maybe not like the same thing, which the 4th one is coming soon TM, I guess. But it's something that you can't just go in and solo. There's a story mode where it skips a lot of the mechanics. But if you're not interested in like, the rewards or anything, you just want to go for the story, you can do that. But the original one is like a group of 5. There's a normal mode and hard mode. And you go in with a group, solve a lot of puzzles, and fight bosses. And, there's nothing that really stands out after you do it the first time. So essentially it's just, can you do it faster going forward, which is kind of the downside. But I think for people experiencing it for the second time, it's actually pretty mechanically intense. So there's like phases and everything. So it's a little bit different from traditional dungeons, which I really do like. There's a decent story, I guess, if you care. But the next thing I want to talk about is boss shrines that are for groups. And one of these essentially is the Black Shrine right here. So this is the solo version. This one came out with Morning Light 1, and the party one is Morning Light 2. So what's the difference? The ones over here, you use the auras, and your gear is more or less relevant. Well, I guess less. Then there's a new one that we currently have at Sangoon. Is like Calamity 1 through 10. So 1 through 7 is based on auras, and then 8 we only have for one boss right now. 8 through 10 is based on your gear. And the party ones are the newest ones, where you go in with a group of 5, and it's essentially like doing mechanics and everything, but it's more tailored towards your gear. So people who are grouped up with good players will clear it faster on average. But yeah, so that's another thing you could do with your group. I think all of these are worth doing at least one time. I think they're fun. The rewards are actually pretty decent. And yeah, if you can, the difference between normal and hard mode is just more health and more damage. There's not really too many new mechanics, if any at all. It's just you have to be more alert, essentially. Which in other games, where if you do like a hard mode, they introduce new mechanics. I don't think they have any in the hard modes that I've done here, and it's just like, if you get hit, you take more damage essentially. And so the next thing that's more or less connected, you could do this without a guild. You could do it with like your friends in different guilds, but if you do it in a guild, then you get more, I guess a guild ranking instead of just whatever. So the next thing you could do with your guild is like guild missions. This is still more or less solo, but like, let's say you have a mission to, I don't know, kill X amount of monsters, right? It's a collective effort, but the one that realistically more people will be doing are like guild leagues and, like guild bosses, which the guild bosses are actually pretty decently rewarding. And I would say of the three my guild does, we clear all three of them in probably like, I would say maybe half an hour. Most of the time is traveling from point A to B to all of them. And it's probably like 1 billion silver in 30 minutes, it's worth doing. So yeah, if you're not in a guild, join a guild. That's where a lot of the social aspects come from. Guild League if you're a PvPer, Node Wars sieges, PvE guild bosses, and Black Shrine bosses. A lot of that is there. And a few other things I want to talk about are the grind spots that you could do solo. So it sucks that most of the grind spots are realistically solo, but if you want to find a few of them that are, group ones, you could find it in the tag over here. Like, I think they're very limited, but the ones that are popular are Olin's is in a party of 3. Where is it? Upper Gyfin is 5. I think nowadays you could do it with less, but there's a thing that people have asked me, like, can I do this spot even though it says it's a party of 5? Yes, you can solo it, but the difference between being able to do something and being able to do something efficiently is, two different stories. So you should generally bring more people if it says like a party of 5, but like, yes, you can do it. So yeah, there's group spots for 2, 3, and 5. And technically you can do that. And the ones that are unique, more or less, is one over here down in, I guess if you have the new menu, there's one called Community. And there's like a music album, which is basically for shies in very particular. If you've ever seen like a streamer or some other videos of people playing music around town and they're all shies, that's because like shies have like an entirely different life skill, if you would call it, and basically they can make music, and I think it's actually a unique thing that they can do. So yeah, I think it's cool. And the last one is Yar. If I'm pretty sure Yar is like Pearl Abyss put it in the game and then forgot it existed. So basically Yar is like a card game essentially. And if you want to do like the basic one, you go talk to Igor Bartali and Velia, and that's basically an introduction of it. But it's like matching numbers, and it gets a little bit more different based on what you're doing and, like the kind of mode you have. So yeah, all of this, you just read it, you can challenge your friends and stuff. So I think it's unique. I wish there was a reward system for doing this, because like Pearl Abyss likes to introduce a lot of various game modes, but a lot of them aren't necessarily rewarding. So it's like, oh, you do it once, do it with your guildies or friends, and you're like, okay, now I can go do something that actually gives me, you know, silver an hour or whatever. So I think I wish in the future that they look back on a lot of the old stuff that they added to the game and just add some sort of reward to it. Even if it's weekly, it doesn't have to be a lot. More is obviously better, but I think just a lot of things would be more well known or used if people got something out of it. So that was just a small list of things that you could do co-op or with your friends and guilds in this game. And yes, I know that a majority of things are solo in this game, but like ultimately I still think it's a lot of fun. If you're only in this game to, you know, do group content and, you know, play with other people, you can, but this may not be the MMO. I'm just being honest. So yeah, with that said, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.